I'm Ian Baker, and today we're going to go over the 2019 Montana High Country 373RD. This is a rear den floor plan. If you're not familiar with it, essentially it kind of takes the front living concept but flips everything around, putting the raised living room in the back. The big advantage of that is the fact that you get storage underneath and you have a huge awning still on the camp side. So speaking of the living room or the rear den area, let's go ahead and start right here. So it has dual opposing slides, really helping to open this space up again, just like you see in a front living room. You have tri-fold sofas in both of the slides. Because this is a wide body, it allows you to have the two tri-folds instead of a tri-fold and a jackknife. When you open both of those up, they basically meet right in the middle. But that does allow sleeping space for 4 adults in here, which is awesome. You'll also see that you have theater seating right over here. That, of course, is directly across from the TVs. This is probably the best seat in the house. You have a couple cup holders right here. Of course, set the TV remote right there. Their cool thing is that these are powered. So, you don't have to worry about trying to shove them back in, if you have bad knees or something like that. Super easy to use. They have USB ports in there as well, so you can charge any, cell phones or tablets, things like that while you're sitting there. Now, when you are sitting there, obviously, you're going to probably want to be watching TV or just have great conversation. But if you want to watch TV, that will be right here in the center. Windows on both sides. Roller shades throughout the entire RV, which are great. They're super simple and easy to use. Storage all across the top. Frosted glass. Not super deep, but still quite usable. And then if you drop underneath, you have 2 speakers here and your multimedia center. So this is a DVD player as well. So if you want to watch a movie, you can put it in there. It also is Bluetooth capable, and it controls the speakers right here as well as the speakers outside. Directly underneath that is your 34-inch fireplace, which not only looks great, but is also a space heater. So it'll help take the chill off in this space without having to use propane, and you have storage on both sides of that. Last thing I do want to talk about in the living area is right up top here, and that is that you have a quiet, cool AC. That's a great feature to have, especially because this will probably be the main congregation point. As I mentioned, everyone is hanging out or watching TV. That is about 30 to 35% quieter than your standard AC, which is a big deal when you're trying to talk or watch a movie. Heading down the steps, which, by the way, you do have a grab handle right here just to kind of aid you getting up and down. And you also have a courtesy light. That is motion censored. That's a really cool deal if you have guests that are staying up there, because that way if they have to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, they get up, start to walk down the stairs, it turns on, make sure that they're not going to trip on their way down. Here in the kitchen, you have a slide out on this side right over here. That definitely helps open up the living space. You'll notice the freestanding table and chairs right here. Great thing about that is it's really easy to get in and out of. You see how much room you actually have. It also has a leaf, so if you want to pull that out to get a little more room while you're eating, it just gives you that much more table space. Or if you need to do work, you need to plug in a tablet or laptop, there is an electrical outlet right down below, which also doubles as a great place to plug in a vacuum if you decide to bring a vacuum with you. Large windows here really help to let in a lot of natural light, and you have LED lights at night. Right next to that is your Samsung residential refrigerator. This unit is 18 cubic foot. You can see it's absolutely huge. You do have a couple of crisper trays down here with a little humidity control, whether you're putting veggies or fruit in there. It has a simple locking system. When it's shut, you take this right here. There's a hole. You just screw it in, and that locks all 3 of the doors. And then right underneath is your freezer compartment. It also does have the ice maker. You'll see there is a little bit of pink stuff in there. That's because you do want to make sure that you winterize that. Don't forget that. But having an ice maker in your RV is great because obviously you don't have to buy ice. You need to make a drink, you have it readily available. The other cool thing is because this is a single slide, when this slide is in, you do still have access to the refrigerator. So if you need to pull over and get something out of the fridge, you can. That does have a dedicated inverter, so that way everything in there stays cold as you're traveling down the road. Right here is your pantry. It's not currently on, but there we go. So there's a motion censored light in there. So that way, when you do try to reach around in there, lights up, makes it nice and easy to see. Great spot to put a lot of your extra food. More storage right up top here. You'll also notice you have an electrical outlet right here. This is a great spot to put some of your cell phones or other electronics you need to charge. Right underneath that Of course, LED light, beautiful tile backsplash here. Folks, this is real tile. That's a big upgrade from what a lot of manufacturers are doing. Rather than just using a panel, it's an actual tile on here. And then this is your LTE router. So if you do want LTE signal, the 4G cellular signal, you can upgrade this and have that installed. That way you can get cellular signal wherever you can get cellular signal. But that does, of course, require a separate data plan. You will notice you have a couple of drawers right here, as well as storage underneath that. And then over here is the rest of the kitchen. So you will notice you have huge kitchen countertops in here, which is awesome. You know, a ton of prep space right in here. Big window out to the campsite. So, you know, if you want to take a look out there, you can. Plus, it lets in a lot of natural light. Recessed cooktop with a glass cover. This folds up and back just like so to show you the 3 burners there. Nice upgraded grill on here. Your buttons do light up. You can turn them off if you so choose. You also get the larger oven. Furrion does make a couple different size ovens here. You know, even though it looks very similar with the light up knobs, it is very different. This is definitely the larger of the 2. Right over to this side, you have a bank of 4 drawers that we have plenty of room for all of your flatware, anything else you need. Underneath that, you see storage all the way around, a dedicated spot for a trash can, which is awesome. A little bit of storage over here as well. If we take a look up top here, you'll see again, big storage all the way through. Now, you know, I'm 6 foot, even though I have short arms, you know, I do struggle to reach the top shelf, so it might not hurt to bring a little step stool just so you can fully utilize the kitchen storage, but it is definitely nice and high. They certainly built it up for you. Then as we head toward the front of the camper, I do want to show you a couple things. Starting right here on the wall, again, you have a handrail, so it is easy to walk up and down the stairs. And again, you have a courtesy light. So, you know, as I mentioned, if someone's coming up these steps, need to get up and use the bathroom, they have the light there at night. Open up this bottom door and you'll see a couple of coat hooks right there. And right above that is the main control panel. You see the motion sensor light here. Something that is really cool is you have 12-volt heat pads, so that way you'll make sure that your holding tanks aren't freezing up on you in cold weather. Everything else is right there, including your slide control and your tank monitoring panel. Making our way up a little bit further, you go into the bathroom. It does have a pivot door, so that way you can enter from either side. And this is one of my favorite bathroom setups. I love having this bathroom. You have the double vanity here, which is awesome. Beautiful solid surface countertops here, so they're able to undermount the sink. Obviously a faucet on each side. You have the dual medicine cabinets up top as well, so you know, kind of have a his and hers there. A little bit of storage in the center. Again, storage underneath, and both sides are plenty large enough to have trash cans. Big drawers here right in the middle. And then on the other side, right behind the door, take a look at this. You also have excellent linen closet storage running all the way down, so you have plenty of space, you know, to hide toilet paper or put your towels, things like that. Right here's your foot flush lever toilet, porcelain bowl, so it's super easy to clean. It'll stay looking nice. Obviously, I have a ton of leg room. Great shoulder space here as well. There is a heat duct in the floor, so if it's cold, it'll help keep it nice and toasty. Conversely, if it's really hot, you have an AC duct in here as well, so it'll keep it a little cooler. The shower is quite large. I will step in here for you. My favorite part about the shower is the fact it is one-piece construction, meaning there's not any seams in here. So that way you have less chance for any leaks. You have plenty of shelf space. It also has a seat. So whether you want to sit down to take a shower or if you want to put your foot up here, it makes it a little bit easier to shave your legs. Right up top here is your skylight. And folks, I'm 6 foot. As you can see, I have plenty of space. Even if you're 6'3", 6'4", you can probably still shower in here without having to duck down. When you step into the master bedroom, one of the things you'll notice right away is the big slide-out king bed. Love having a king bed in your camping. That way you're not elbowing each other in the middle of the night. You can get a great night's sleep. You also have storage underneath that is strut supported, so it's super easy to lift up as well as drop back down. And as you'll notice, it is a very significant storage space. Both sides of the slides have windows there. Again, roller shades. Both windows do open for cross ventilation. And you'll notice the really cool kind of shiplap wall right there. Just gives it a nice accent as well. You have USB ports on one side. You have shelves on both sides. You also have electrical outlets on both sides, a little bit closer to the floor. Right up front is the wardrobe, large hanging rod spanning the whole way, as well as a shelf across the top. You also see you have mirrored doors here, so that way if you want to check yourself out in the morning or while you're sleeping, I guess, you can do that too. Right over to the side here is your laundry prep. So if you want washer and dryer, this is where it will go. As you saw, you have a light in here as well. Both of these lights are motion censored. If you don't want washer dryer, no problem. You just get a huge extra storage area. The foot of the bed, you will see your window here. Also the TV, it is already framed out, so it looks really nice. And right underneath that is your dresser, plenty of drawer space there. Last thing I do want to touch on is right up top, you will see you have a second AC. So that way, if it is a hot night, you can stay nice and cool. Now that we've seen the inside, let's take a look at some of the outside features on the Montana High Country 373 RD. Right up front is your gorgeous painted front cap. You'll see a couple LED lights here. You have one all the way across the top, a couple more inlaid right down here. And then you will also see the big mirrors, what they call hitch vision. And basically what this does is as you're backing up your tow vehicle, it just helps you align your kingpin with the hitch. Speaking of kingpin, folks, this one does have the Rotoflex kingpin on there with the pivot head. So that way it pivots as you're starting and stopping, helping preventing some of the bucking and chucking that you experience when that tow vehicle, again, starts and stops moving. Take a look at the side. So as I mentioned when we were inside, one of the best parts about the rear den is this right here. I have a massive awning. On a front living room setup, you would have a big slide right here. It takes out a big chunk of the awning. Not the case on the rear den. So big awning, touch a button to roll that out. Same thing to have it go right back in. It does have an LED light strip on there. It also has a Dometic power strip right here. So there's a bunch of different components you can plug in there, from lights to all sorts of other fun stuff. So you can definitely take advantage of that as well if you so choose. Right over here is one of two 30-pound propane tanks. You'll have one on this side, another one on the other side. And right behind that is your pass-through. So a couple quick things about the garage storage here. One, it is slam latch, works very, very, very well. Has metal components on there still. It's also magnetic, so you can put it up just like that, and it stays there. You don't have any latches or anything to break off. It's not being held out on struts because, again, you don't have a slide there. If it's a front living, you have a slide up top. It's held straight out right here. None of this is usable camp space. If you take a look at the garage storage itself, you will see it is massive. And the reason for that is because Montana utilizes what's called drop frame construction. If you drop down with me a second here, so you'll see the I-beam right here. That's generally not the case. Usually there's a main structural I-beam that runs all the way through here, which is what most manufacturers do, and it takes off a big chunk. So what they do is they actually mount this underneath the main I-beam. And so it kind of comes up to here and then drops down, has this I-beam run underneath. And so it gives you, all of this extra space right here that you normally don't get. So again, huge garage storage area. There is a light in here as well. Also, you have an electrical outlet, TV hookup. So if you want a TV, you can hook one up right there. And then you will also see the electrical outlet in case you want to plug anything in outside. One thing worth noting underneath, I don't know if you noticed or not, but that is completely enclosed, insulated, and heated underbelly, so things do stay nice and warm in there. Plus, we had those 12-volt tank heaters I showed you when we were inside. Spare tire carrier is right here. It is mounted underneath, but the cool thing about this, if you have to get to it, of course, the stairs won't be here. They'll be inside. You can pull a pin. You can actually pull this out. It makes it much, much easier to get to that spare tire, so you don't have to get underneath on your hands and knees. But back to the steps, these are the MORryde step above step system. It's an awesome step system, very, very sturdy. Folks, I'm over 200 pounds. You can see I can walk up and down on this. I can jump on it. There's hardly any flex to it at all. Aluminum treads on here so they won't rust, plus you have the grip tape, so if it's wet, you get some extra traction. And you have the nice big grab handle here as well for added control. The other thing I really love about it, let me open this up real quick here for you. So a lot of manufacturers are using these, but something Montana does that a lot of others don't is, these are actually pretty big, heavy steps, but look how easy this is to lift up. I can do it with 1 or 2 fingers. I let it go, it just sits there because they use a strut. So that way it takes most of that weight out of it. It really makes it a lot easier, if maybe you don't have the strength to constantly lift that up and down, or have to detach it and carry it somewhere. This is definitely a much simpler way to do it. Moving a little bit further back here, you can take a look at the wheels. So aluminum alloy wheels on there, which are absolutely gorgeous. They look great today. They will for years to come as well because aluminum doesn't rust. Right in between here is the road armor suspension system. So, you know, that helps take a lot of the bumps out of the road. So that way when you get to your destination, you have less broken dishes, things haven't shifted as much. And that in conjunction with your pivot head up front really makes this a smooth towing machine down the road. So this, of course, is your living room here. As we saw, there were stairs going up. It's raised, and this is why they elevate it. Instead of having a really high ceiling, you have a little bit lower ceiling, but you have this storage area. We'll see when we go around back, there's that massive tray that pulls out. So a ton of storage right there. You also have storage on both sides. If you have longer items, they kept this open so you can run them all the way through there. You can see the aluminum framing as well. So when we come around to the back, I'll open this up for you. This is magnetic again on these doors, stays up just like that, and take a look at the size of that tray, folks. You know, it's nice and easy to use. This just pulls out. You can put a ton of stuff in here. So if you love that front living room feel, but you want just massive exterior storage, this is definitely the way to go. Right underneath is a 2-inch receiver. So that way if you have a bike rack or, you know, something else that you want to put in there, it already comes with it. Otherwise, if you have to weld one on there, a lot of people don't know this, but that generally voids the manufacturer's warranty. But because it comes from the factory, you can put it right in there, you're good to go. Attached to that back wall is your rear-mounted ladder. This way you can quickly and easily climb up onto the fully walkable roof, whether you have to get up there just for your annual inspection or if you need to clean off pine cone sticks or whatever else is up on the roof. This allows you to easily do it without having to take up your space there with an additional ladder. Also right up in the center is backup camera prep. If you want a backup camera, having the prep makes it easier because it's already pre-wired. So that way it's a little bit less expensive on the labor side if you choose to have that professionally installed. Right around the other side here is your 50 amp detachable power cord. As you saw, this one does have the 2 ACs plus the fireplace, so you definitely need 50 amp service. And then this right here is the other side of that storage area. Right here on the off-door side is the convenience center. You'll see right up top you have motion sensor light, outside shower here. Everything you need for winterization is here as well, including the water heater bypass, and you have your freeze guard winterization system. So that way you take your bucket of antifreeze, hook it up right there. You can turn on your water pump and that will actually run that antifreeze through your entire system, making it very easy. City water inlets right underneath that black tank flush here, and you have a power fill if you want to fill your fresh water tank. Black and gray tank valves are here as well as your low point. You will see solar prep. So if you want solar panels, just buy portable ones, plug it in right there. It'll trickle charge your battery. Your battery disconnect is here, and then right above that is the Key TV multi-source controller. So that is where you plug in your cable or satellite. Taking a look right up top here, this is the inverter, which is dedicated to that refrigerator. So again, that way it stays cool when you're going down the road. And lastly, right there is your auto level controller. All right, folks, and that wraps it up. Again, this is a 2019 Montana High Country 373 RD. If you're interested in this gorgeous fifth wheel and you'd like price and availability, simply click on the link in the description. Thanks again for watching. I'm Ian Baker, and let's go camping.